Hello, folks, and welcome to the first match of the day for the Friend or Foe series Helios Luna League. I am your friendly neighborhood shoutcaster Chargan, and I'm joined today by Anti. We have got a really exciting matchup today with Blue Bayou Zoo going up against Serenity Senate.
Now, this is going to be a really interesting one, especially because I don't know about Blue Bayou Zoo and Serenity Senate or like how other people are necessarily viewing them, but I have personally scrimmed both teams, and they are both super interesting ones to watch and things I think everyone should be watching out for.
They definitely are super interesting teams to be watching. I really like Serenity Senate just kind of like on paper with like Cheeky Pingu and P Sweezy. Like I love it. Like just those two guys are going to be really exciting to watch. And then Blue Bayou Zoo, I know that they are hungry today because of yesterday's match against UB, where it just did not go the way that they wanted. And so I'm really expecting them to come out like with some kind of fire in their gut to just like immediately bash down Serenity Senate, which you can kind of see with the Viego and Ezreal pickups right off the bat.
And the Viego pickup, very strong champion. One thing that we see here, we see the Ornn pickup for P Sweezy. I'm fairly certain that it is going in top lane. And one of the big things to take into account, P Sweezy was on BBZ last season as All Might.
He was. We've once again got the All Might in the top lane, and so that's gonna be spicy just in general because he's going up against his old team. You know, there's got to be a bit of rivalry there with that, and so I'm really excited to see that. And just in general, like we gotta enjoy the Ruined King while we still have him, because the upcoming patch he's gonna get hit hard with the Nerf hammer.
And one of the interesting things that we're seeing here, that's 3 top lane bans on the side of Serenity.
Oh.
No worries.
Okay, so we just had in our ear told that this is in fact the draft for the previous game that was unable to be played. So until we actually have the correct draft up on screen, Anti, have you actually looked at what they're doing to Viego yet?
I have. It seems really interesting. It's definitely going to push him more into a glass cannon kind of build, which means that we're probably not going to see as much of him in competitive play unless someone's already put in tons of time into them. Kind of how we saw Gwen fall off, where Gwen still a very strong champion, don't get me wrong. And you see players like Kana in the LCK still using her to a ridiculous effect, despite the nerfs, because the champion still rewards those who put the time in, just not a champion that you can just pick up and slot onto any team.
That's very true, and there is kind of like that whole situation where he does have a lot in his kit that allows for a lot of variety and his ability to help his team out, especially because he functions like a Silas in the sense where he's able to grab abilities from opposing champions. And for those of you who don't know what exactly that they've done to him, real quick recap is basically they're shaving off the edge of his sword, so it's going to be a little bit shorter. His attack range is going down. They're changing up his healing so that it's not going to be as oppressive and will not be quite as high. And then his crit and camouflage duration are also being reduced. And then his Heartbreaker is also not going to slow you down as much. So just real quick, there's a couple of bug fixes in there too, because release champion, obviously not going to be perfect right on match. And just seeing this band coming out right here, we've got Frozen Incursion, Tiki losing the Vladimir and the Malzahar. Just straight up, we have two very strong mid laners that are banned right off the bat.
Oh boy.
Ooh, those are some really nasty ones.
And the Shyvana ban. That's wild.
I like the Shyvana ban in the sense of, like, I do think Shyvana is one of those champions where if you can get her ahead, she just feeds off those drakes. You can really blast from the distance with that the AP damage with the Fire Breath, and it can work a little bit squishy, and so it can kind of ruin comps. But whenever we see Dax going on to this Xin Zhao instead, it definitely seems like he was going to be going for that hard engage, really hard damage hitting champion anyway, and he was able to pick that up.
Yeah, and one of the big things here is Serenity has banned 3 champions away from the jungle. They definitely respect Dax and the way how he plays, but Dax is still left with the Xin Zhao. So unless Serenity have a specific plan for the Xin Zhao, which is a priority pick for a lot of teams right now, very strong pick, I don't really know if Shyvana or Kayn were necessarily any better bans. It feels almost like a waste at this point. And we see the Alistar Bears on the side of Serenity, very good pickups there. And we see on BBZ, they're going to respond to a weak side bot lane with an incredibly strong duo lane that has the really, really intense counter pick.
Yeah, sorry.
We should see, don't worry about it. We should see so much pressure coming into this bot lane that I think that BBZ are playing a style that I wanted to see more of yesterday.
Yeah, they really are. Like yesterday's game, I feel like was a bit of an off game. They were kind of going with the Kog'Maw Lulu pick in the bot lane. I don't think that's something that they looked very comfortable on. And so here's the thing about this league that I have definitely learned having watched these games. It's not about what's meta. It's about what are you comfortable playing and what are you good at playing that you need to be pulling out in these drafts, where you could draft a solo queue looking team, but if you can play your champions effectively and coordinated, it's going to work out way better for you than if you drop the winning C9 Worlds comp that they end up pulling out.
Now, BBZ had a very good composition here. I liked it a lot until the Blind Fiora pick, which, honestly, don't get me wrong, Jaffe is not a bad top laner by any means. I still think that Blind Fiora in general is incredibly disrespectful, especially when you already have a strong side bot lane pick. Unless Red is getting ahead, there is no way that this Fiora is going to be able to do what she wants. And I think that P-Sweezy is in a very good position with the Set Sejuani combo, where top lane 2v2 is going to be really hard for BBZ to play around. It
really feels like to me with that Fiora pickup that Jaffe wants to show up all might. He wants to prove that he is going to win this lane. So I think that that's going to be something fun to watch. And you're definitely right, where if bot lane doesn't get ahead, Fiora is going to suffer in the late game. But I feel like this is a personal pick much rather than a team-oriented one.
Of the personal picks, I still feel like Jaffe had other options available to him that personally I would like to see Jaffe on more. I don't think that the Fiora is the highest priority in terms of blind pickable champions. And I like the set pickup from P-Sweezy here. And right now, we have 2 very specific things that each team wants to do. BBZ wants to get early tempo, early plating, and absolutely stomp the early game, while having Fiora continually split push and not let Serenity 5v5. Serenity, I'm not entirely sure what their team comp wants to do. I think that Varus just wants to exist.
Ooh, that was a nice bit of damage, but we didn't have the Morgana Q actually make contact, so he didn't get locked down and bursted.
And crucially, we see the cleanse from both bot laners, meaning that roams from either mid laner won't be completely free kill. And this game is going to revolve very, very tightly around the mid lane.
Yeah, it's going to be when you. The thing is, with this mid lane, you have the Rise and the Twisted Fate, both champions which are very good at roaming. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. Look at this. We've already got an early fight going on. Nice lockdown as Cheeky Pingo looks for an angle on Orphic, but not quite able to find one. And we have a fight up here in the top lane. This P-Sweezy is just able to pull in Fiora to bring Jaffe there. Look at this.
Orphic is not missing.
He is not. He is really upset about not being able to play a lockdown champion yesterday.
And just like that, I think BBZ should be able to hit level 2 first and press their advantage. P-Sweezy, on the other hand, getting some good trades off in this top lane. Fiora at level 2 shouldn't really have any kill pressure, but can get a little bit of priority in the lane.
A little bit of priority, and she manages to hit those vitals. She's going to get enough healing and enough sustain that basically she's able to stay in lane for quite a bit of time. But you see right here, P-Sweezy is taking advantage of the fact that Jaffe just isn't able to 1v1 him. He does get minion blocked and has to flash over the wall, but that's going to be first blood from the riposte as the damage is completely negated.
Really good stuff from Jaffe there, but honestly, I think that's more of a greedy play from P-Sweezy, where saw a really good opportunity and then decided to force it when the minions didn't let him do it.
Absolutely, and this is what I meant when I said that this was a personal match and a personal fight. Like you could see right there in that both of those players were out for blood during that fight, and that unfortunate creep block where he got stuck between the wall and the minion, and he just couldn't quit over, had to use flash. It just it hurts to see. Oh,
Jack's going to use the third auto on the Squire's Bloom, so not going to actually get the knock up on Sejuani. Just going to go for the Rift Scuttler instead, not going to do too much. Bot lane priority already paying off.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out how to say SER's ADC's name. I'm thinking it's Liddy. Like you're lit, but not entirely positive on that. Nice bit of damage. We do see Dax looking for an angle, but he's not going to be able to find one. I have a feeling that he's basically going to try and get bot prio right now. Be ready for that Drake when it comes up here in the next minute or so. Maybe he's going to try and sneak it. I'm not sure. I think that would be a good idea. We do see that Frozen has decided to back off a little bit. Probably going to start his top down clear to be ready for that bot side fight that's going to be coming up here shortly.
Consulting the player sheet, it is apparently LTY.
LTY.
Makes that a lot easier on us. Now, the early Sheen pickup on Jaffe here, honestly, really nice, but that's a lot of damage coming out from P-Sweezy. And this minion wave pushing in means that P-Sweezy is going to be able to get a nice freeze here. And that could spell trouble for Jaffe.
See, this is where I think the Fiora pickup was actually kind of a sneaky good idea. Look at this, Dex going in. We get the nice root down as Alistar gets locked in place. Cheeky Pingo not able to escape. He's going to get knocked up. Has to flash out to stay alive, but the Dex is going to follow up his own flash. He's going to get knocked back, but it's not going to matter as Cheeky Pingo goes down to the BBZ Orphic, doing enough damage with that burn that he's just able to bring him down.
And just like that, already getting a lead in the bot lane. And Jaffe going to push in, but Frozen Incursion top side means that Jaffe can't continue to get those plates.
He can't, which is going to be okay for him. He's already gotten the first blood, and he's managed to pick up a Sheen off that, which is perfect for Fiora. We're just waiting to see now what P-Sweezy is going to do on his first back. Probably not going to pick up that Bramble Vest, though. That is a good way to shut down the Fiora. Look at this. We're right there. P-Sweezy going in. No. He gets stunned because he tried to get the pull in, knew exactly what was coming there. Haymaker is going to go wild as it just misses. We do see Jaffe getting frozen in place as he dashes over the wall, manages to just get out in time.
Yeah, and an unfortunate misplay from P-Sweezy there. Jaffe able to make use of it, get out in time, but P-Sweezy pulling out the Facebreaker a little early means that Sejuani's not going to get that stun before Jaffe gets over the wall. And this wave was in a really good position for P-Sweezy, but now that Jaffe doesn't actually have to back, Jaffe's not going to fall behind.
Facebreaker pulls Jaffe in, tries to get off the Haymaker, but doesn't quite make it. P-Sweezy, Jaffe picks up yet another kill as he takes him down, and it looks like the Duelist is doing better than the boss.
Yeah, and look at this lane priority. Red just going to invade with his jungler, and there's so little that they can do in response.
Nice lockdown. Look at that massive amount of damage coming out as we're having to see Tiki flash out. Cheeky Pingo going down yet again. Dax almost able to hit Alistar over the wall.
And just like that, Red invading pre-6, is able to get there before the Ryze, who is already going to hit level 6. Ryze is pushed out of lane. Dax is on the board and able to do everything he wants in this jungle, and this is the BBZ that we know and love.
See, this is the game I was looking forward to seeing yesterday. This is the team that I was hoping to see. And now I hope that whenever they go up against UB once again, they're going to be out for blood. Nice flash from the Morgana to get the root. Dark Binding coming down. Look at that. So much damage coming out. The Electric Keep finishes him off as BBZ takes down Tiki.
7 minutes in, 5 kills on the board, and BBZ are looking to snowball this game into a win.
Definitely so, definitely so. Now, look at this. We got a little bit of a something coming on in the top lane.
Oh, this should be a 2v2, and I don't think that BBZ will be able to win this one just yet.
Oh. Eastweezy getting hit with so much damage, getting locked down. Showstopper comes out, doesn't manage to find purchase on Red, but he doesn't matter as he's going to go in on him, getting the double kill. Jaffe is going to be able to bring out the grand challenge, trying to take down Frozen Incursion. Doesn't quite able to hit him. That is getting really, really greedy. Riposte is on cooldown at the moment, so they can't go in because there's so much CC available. Jaffe has to just back off.
Yeah, and that's that top lane 2v2 I was warning about earlier. Oh,
look at that nice knockup from Alistar as he dives in, but it's not going to matter as he gets rooted in place, and that corrupted pool just does so much damage. Jaffe coming in with the flash riposte, just misses. Again, greedy play, tries to go in, hits the vital, but it's not going to matter. They're trying to make this worth, but that's a little bit of a wasted set of summoners on Jaffe's part.
Yeah, that's honestly unfortunate on the side of Jaffe here, and BBZ showing a few cracks. Like I said, they have an incredibly strong early game, and they're looking to snowball this game, but I feel like they're trying to push a little bit too hard. You already have the lead. You don't need to push too much harder. Just hold on to that lead, transition it into your eventual kills. You don't have to burn everything, giving your opponents a way back into this game, trying to do that.
But you see, it's all about that style, and it's like, look at this. I don't need my summoners to kill you later. I'm going to use them now.
Oh, and Dax still looking to engage on that 2v2 in a really bad position here.
He is kind of caught out. It's a 2v2, and he's about to get pincered as Sejuani starts coming down from the top lane. But he's just going to back off into the river to avoid any unnecessary fighting.
And one of the big things about the 2v2s is that the top lane 2v2 on the side of Serenity is a very strong 2v2. Sejuani and Set are incredibly potent, and both of them can set up into each other's stuns. But Ryze Sejuani, not particularly strong, and Shinzao TF is going to win that any day of the week. So as long as they stay away from topside, BBZ have full control of the bottom half of the map.
There we go. We've got Jaffe going in. The riposte is on cooldown, so he's not able to avoid the damage here. Does bring out the grand challenge. We got a TF teleporting in as well, but we have P-Sweezy just ducking under tower and basically running away. Not with his tail between his legs, just getting ready for the next fight.
And P-Sweezy, sitting at half health, honestly doesn't necessarily need to back, but going to back because he makes sure to respect the dive and the potential of the follow-up. He's going to back and TP, nothing on the map yet. And just like that, Serenity looking to come bot.
Serenity coming bot. We have the Varus trying to throw out the ultimate, but doesn't quite manage to make a purchase, and that's going to be a rooted Rise as there's nowhere for him to go as he comes out of that Realm Warp, and that is a lot of damage. And look here, the fight's still going on in the bot lane. We have the nice riposte to block the CC from the Sejuani. P-Sweezy looking for that secondary engage with the Facebreaker, but we just have Jaffe walking away.
Like I said, BBZ drafted around their bot lane. We know that they're going to be eternally on strong side.
Good root by Orphic.
Nice root. And there's so little that you can actually do on Serenity's side. Varus, as a pick, is always going to be weak side, and I think that ganking bot is a mistake here. I think instead you go top lane, you push the advantage that you can get with P-Sweezy. Despite being behind, you win that 2v2. You win that 2v3. There's no reason to be going to this bot side, which is going to have very, very little that you can actually get out of it.
It is a little bit tougher for them to get, but I really feel like Ryze is probably just afraid to engage on a 2-0 Fiora. That's probably where the biggest issue is, and he's thinking, you know, I can go bot lane, get myself a kill on the weak Morgana and the weak Caitlyn, and then you Ryze, and it's like, wait, they aren't weak. Oh no, I have made a mistake.
Yeah, and just like that, all it does is slow down the game a little bit, but your opponents have 7 kills at 11 minutes now. There's so little that you're going to be able to do on that side. A 2-0 Fiora is scary, but against 3 champions, there's very little she can do.
Yeah, there's very little that they can do. But at the same time, I like Fiora as a pick, just as a general choice. I think she's a fun champion to play, and so that's why I would like to pick her up in the top lane every once in a while. Look at this. We've already got Orphic rotating here to the mid lane, trying to take advantage of Tiki. Tiki does have flash up, but is not going to be able to use it as the binding just comes down. Look at that. The roots, the damage, the pool. There's just nowhere for him to go as he's just stuck.
That binding hit. Wow.
Yeah.
Did not expect that. And once again, the mid lane and bot lane are completely under control of BBZ. Serenity have to play around topside. They have to give up this dragon. No point in contesting it. And P-Sweezy gonna go in once again, getting a good trade-off.
See, I kind of got to wonder if maybe it was a situation where SER just kind of didn't take advantage of... Look at that damage coming out as Varus gets taken down. We have Cheeky Pingu getting rooted as well as he just gets bursted. There's nothing he can do against this 4v2. I have to wonder if SER maybe just didn't respect BBZ going into this game, seeing their game against UB yesterday.
Yeah, sometimes, you see a team that doesn't necessarily look that strong, and decide, hey, this is exactly what we're going to be seeing. BBZ, oh, Jaffe, going low here.
Getting really, really low. He just manages to walk out from the Haymaker, is just going to walk away rather than Q over the wall. Walks right next to the control ward, but doesn't see it and walks away.
Jaffe going really low there, but P-Sweezy, a few early Haymakers, honestly, I feel like he could have secured a few of these kills, but either way, wanted to get Jaffe out of lane, but not burning Jaffe's flash.
He didn't. That was a lot of cool and collectedness coming out of Jaffe as he didn't manage to actually flash. He didn't flash out, didn't have to use his riposte. We have the flash binding coming out as Orphic manages to hit both members now with the channel, is trying to lock down LTY, but doesn't manage to do it, but it's not going to matter as he just takes a lot of damage from Caitlyn, does get rooted by the second shot. That is going to be a shot as he gets headshotted by Caitlyn. Tef is just doing so much damage here. Look at that. That is a double kill. Trying to look for the triple, but is not able to pick it up as Tiki gets the shutdown. We now have Frozen Incursion trying to hunt down Orphic. Orphic dodging the second part of the Glacial Flail, but isn't needing to flash out. Able to flash out.
Meanwhile, on the top side, BBZ trading the map. BBZ trading the map, very standard. Hey, we see something bot, we're gonna put people top and get that top tower. We're going to get those plates, and we're going to get more gold out of this, even though you got a shutdown.
That was pretty crazy. This fight top lane also that 3-man dive, beautifully executed. And with that, that's going to make it real easy for them, as they're probably going to be looking to pick up this scuttle here. It's coming up here in about probably like another 2 minutes or so. They're just going to get the vision, they get themselves the first turret, start setting up there. Drake's not up for another 3 minutes, so as we're looking at these objectives, they've already cracked top lane, which means that mid is probably their next target.
Honestly, I feel like we're just going to see the Caitlyn Morgana rotating in mid here and pushing down these plates, because TF in the side lane is going to do just fine.
So much damage from that root. There is just nowhere for him to go as the poor Mukau just gets absolutely bursted.
Yeah, Cheeky Pingu going down for the 6th time this game in 14 minutes.
Now, we've seen Cheeky Pingu play in FOF, and it seems like he's having a very rough time right now.
And sometimes you just have those games, man.
It's a little unfortunate, but what a way to start. Look at that. We have the nice LTY giving the little happy feet as he just dodges that binding. Doesn't actually get locked down. We have Jaffe waiting for that. The root comes out as Sejuani gets locked in place. That's going to basically negate any of that armor, so she's not going to have to walk away to recharge it. In the meantime, I have a feel. Okay, so look at this. We have Jaffe just hanging out in the river here. He's probably looking to just basically force off these two, basically 2v1 it as the grand duelist that they are. I'm not. Now it's a 2v2. It's about to be a 2v4. Looking really excited now.
I don't think that Serenity need to really do anything right now. I think you just want to slow down the pace of the game, farm up, and try to get back into things. Because BBZ's team comp, while it doesn't not scale, it doesn't scale as hard as yours. You don't have to constantly fight for these things while you're at a 7k gold deficit.
Right, because you look at that, so much damage. The Glacial Flail comes out onto Tef. Tef gets locked in place. Orphic is walking away as he's having to run from that. We do have the Ace in the hole coming out, but there's too many members of BBZ in order to block it all.
Oh my god!
We have TF just dropping in at the absolute wrong spot, getting knocked up and back under tower, but he's going to run away. Binding comes out, locking the set in place, not able to get in. P-Sweezy looking for that engage. Facebreaker comes out, gets the double stun. Haymaker doesn't find a purchase on the true damage as they just walk off to the edges. We have another snipe coming out as TF is able to get that kill, taking down the Sejuani. That was intense.
What an unfortunate haymaker from P-Sweezy there, because it looked like they were trying to anticipate the damage that they were going to take and did it just a little bit too early, but the match isn't over yet.
Nope, Rift Herald getting dropped in the mid lane. It's having to walk around to the backside. It's gonna get the kill. That was a good placement by Jaffe. Really low though, so they're gonna have to back off. I don't know if you noticed, they took Rift Herald during that initial fight all by themselves.
Yeah, honestly, Jaffe in a really strong position here. And really strange, because Fiora against Set Sejuani should not be this far ahead right now. It's his worst case scenario for Serenity. And the question is, how do you get back into the game? Do you just group up as 5 in Goon Squad at this point? Because honestly, I think that's your only real choice. But with TF on the map, it's going to be much, much harder to get that vision denial.
Now, I did mention that the Bramble Vest is a good way to shut down a Fiora, and if you look at their team, no one has picked up a Bramble yet. I would have expected to see at least maybe Sejuani or maybe Set have just kind of built the item just to have it in their inventory for a little bit. Yes, you're going to lose out on some damage, but when you're this far behind, survivability is way more important.
Honestly, at this point, I feel like builds themselves are going to be, helpful.
Mostly irrelevant.
Mostly irrelevant. At this point, BBZ's just slapping them in the face with their wallets.
Oh, I'm talking like this should have been built maybe 10 kills ago.
Oh, absolutely. Set should have just rushed it. Set should have just gone Ninja Tabby Bramble Vest 100% of the time.
Oh, well, so that's going to be an easy blue team Drake pickup. And with that, I don't want to say that this game is a done deal, because there's still a chance for Serenity to find their calm, find their center, and bring this game back into their grasp. But with that being said, the Blue Bayou Zoo have very obviously taken control of this game and are just absolutely wrecking it.
At this point, it's gone from this is winnable for Serenity to this is throwable from BBZ. And the question is, can BBZ hold on to this lead? BBZ were a really strong team last season, and especially from ahead. BBZ with a gold lead was a meme that I constantly perpetuated, and I think it still stays true to this day. But the question is, are they going to show those cracks?
I don't know. I do know that we have seen that they have some cracks if they fall behind, but from a lead, like you said, I think that that's going to hold exactly true here. They're already looking right now for an ambush, not able to find it as no one on the side of SER is silly enough to go into their own jungle unprepared. This is going to be an easy siege on this top lane turret. We have a missed binding from Orphic, but they're going to walk out, use the channel, get down the turret shots, and they're going to actually get taken down as Tiki manages to pick up that kill. As Orphic, little out of position on that fight.
Orphic going in as if they had Azanias fully completed, and maybe just didn't realize how much damage they would be taking. And like I said, maybe we'll see those cracks. This game is BBZ's to throw. We shouldn't see it, but it's definitely possible.
It is definitely possible. I really like the fact that Sejuani was picked up in this, because that is going to be a nice amount of tank that's going to scale up into this mid to late game. Plus, you've got a lot of CC that's available to them with the set and being available, along with the Alistair. That's 3 sources with which to proc your passive, which is very important for Sejuani. Personally, I don't like taking her into a game unless I know I have at least 2 other sources of damage or of melee auto attacks for that.
Yeah, and one of the big things about Sejuani here is that Sejuani is very, very good at ganking melee lanes. So if you took like Renekton mid or, put the set mid, something along those lines, Sejuani and that lane are going to have a nearly unbeatable 2v2. Unfortunately, the one lane that they had the 2v2 advantage in was top lane, and Jaffe was winning that solo.
Yeah, he was winning that solo, and if you look at this, we have Orphic getting yet another blind binding at max range that I'm just kind of like, Why are you walking into that phase first, Edge?
At this
What's going on,
point, who
Frozen?
really knows?
It's there's been a couple of these bindings that I feel like should have been sidestepped, but they haven't. I'm not entirely sure if that's just maybe lack of anticipation on the side of SER. Either way, Orphic has been doing a great job getting a lot of CC score.
Honestly, at this point, one of the big things is just how much vision do Serenity really have? Do you think we could see that, perhaps, observers?
So I think as we look at this, if we're just looking at vision scores, just kind of like from a basic standpoint, we do see that Orphic is massive, is like double almost on Alistair. So he's just managed, look at this. Dax managing to jump onto Frozen, not quite able to find a purchase and stick to him though. Too tanky for them to do a lot of damage. Look at that nice snipe coming out. Cheeky Pingu getting almost chunked down to half health. Getting chunked yet again from a Q from Caitlyn. That is just so much freaking damage coming out. Dax getting a nice
going
knockout.
right in?
Binding coming out from Varus, locking Dax in place so there's nowhere for him to go.
That's
and that
two
is just gonna
ults.
That's 2 ults just to escape and stay alive.
Yeah, at this point, I don't see Serenity finding a way back into this game. And Baron is up. There's 22 minutes on the board. They're going to siege bot. And Jaffe is continuing to push into this top, and there's nothing P-Sweezy can do about it.
Look at that, trying to be sneaky and get onto that turret. Not quite able to. Set doesn't take the showstopper over the wall, and that is going to be a shutdown as he finally manages to pick up a kill onto this poor Fiora. Jaffe, it took him 22 minutes to die.
At this point, Jaffe, what are you doing, man? I understand that the Q was supposed to hit the tower and unfortunately hit P-Sweezy instead, but at that point, just let the wave push in. Just take the easy tower. You don't have to go for the super cheeky play and then try to greed out for P-Sweezy afterwards. But just like that, P-Sweezy going to equalize in top lane, going to burn Jaffe's flash, and maybe Serenity get a little bit of respite.
That was a good showstopper by P-Sweezy that we can't discount because he did angle it well enough to where he was throwing Jaffe into a wall rather than over it, which would have allowed him to escape the tower.
Yeah, and at that point, P-Sweezy is going to be able to capture it even at the cost of a flash.
Finding the tankiest member of SER.
Oh my god.
Locking the Sedge in place. It's just that is a shooting gallery for Caitlyn as she's just hanging off to the side, just waiting for it. Red getting the nice angle, getting the double Rift Arrow. Look at this. Ryan's just unloading combo after combo. So much damage coming out, finally getting the kill. Shut down as we see that Red gets taken down. But it's not going to matter as the rest of BBZ moves in from the top side. Realm Warp pulling the rest of his team out. That was really well done by Tiki.
Yeah, really good call from Serenity. Unfortunately, they're going to lose their bot lane on the back half. But BBZ going to get the Ocean Drag. Unfortunately, a good shutdown, but maybe I don't think it's enough.
It's not going to be enough, unfortunately, as we see right here. Jaffe taking the calmer way out as he does decide to try and basically siege this top lane. If I were the rest of BBZ, I'd be doing exactly what they're doing right now, getting this Baron down, because you already took Drake, you took down a bunch of members of SER. There's nothing they can do to stop this.
Yeah, at this point, bot lane's not ever going to be able to match BBZ's bot lane, and top lane's not going to be able to match. I don't think that there's anything that Serenity can do at this point besides group up his 5 and try to goon squad some poor soul.
That's really all they got to do. They got to goon squad as 5, like you said, and they're just going to have to look for a single target. However, the only single target that has been available has been Jaffe, and I feel like a Fiora is going to be tough enough that she has a potential to take down at least one of your members if you jump on her.
That's true, but at this point in the game, a trade's a trade. Like, you take that. If you're taking 7,000 gold off the map and you're losing 4,000 in response, who cares? You still get a positive trade out of it.
Yeah, however, I do think this is also very much a objective game where not only have they been winning in kills, but we're going to be seeing a nice 30-minute Elder Drake coming up here shortly as 4 dragons have gone over to the side of BBZ. They've picked up the first Baron. They've taken every turret, essentially, while SER has only managed to pick up 1 in the mid lane.
Yeah, League of Legends, absolutely an objective-based game, but sometimes if you don't have the money to pay the entrance fee, then you really don't get a chance to play the game.
No, you really don't, and unfortunately, it looks like that is the situation that SER is facing right now. They are having to face down one of the former champs, and it is not going their favor.
Yeah, BBZ, Dax is actually just going to split push in this bot lane here, while Jaffy's going to take it top. They're doing an amazing 1-3-1 split comp, and there's so little that Serenity can do in response.
There is. You've got Jaffe with the powered Baron able to get that turret to just continually hit this tower. He's able to dive the Rise, getting a lot of damage out and is able to get out unscathed. It's just, oh, so unfortunate. You hate seeing it. P-Sweezy eating that Haymaker. I don't know if you noticed. It looked like they just stopped to wait for the damage to be like, yeah, hit me.
Yeah, go ahead. You know, I have Ocean Soul. It's fine. Just go. Just hit me. It's all good.
Oh man, there's nothing they can do to escape this. Oh, poor Set getting completely bursted down. That is going to be top inhibitor falling, as we have bot inhibitor falling as well, and mid inhibitor's already gone. That's going to be Nexus Turret 1, Nexus Turret 2, the rest of SCR trying to find something. They're not quite able to do it as BBZ just cleans this up, and that is going to be an easy win.
Down! Alright, just like that, amazing play from BBZ, a completely different team from what we saw yesterday, and they played that phenomenally. Yeah, one of the big things that I'm glad to see here is that we see an adjustment of play from BBZ. Dax, once again on a signature playmaking jungler, going to be able to do so much there, and Red enabling Dax so much. Their bot lane was able to hold their own, do what they needed. Jaffe getting a good split push off in top lane. And let's see those damage charts. As you can see, bot lane did a lot. We knew that was going to happen. They're the strong side bot lane. But look at Dax's damage. Holy hell. This is a jungler. This is a jungler that had Red enabling him the entire time. And you can see the results of that.
Yeah. Sorry, got a little bit of a tickle in my throat apparently. Dax was doing a... Can you...
All right. No worries. Yeah, but Dax was doing so much work, and Fiora being able to equalize the set, honestly didn't even have to win lane, but the fact that she was able to equalize into a set Sejuani, really good stuff from BBZ, and I hope to see more of this going forward. Honestly,
I completely agree with you on that. It's like, I think this is the BBZ that we wanted to see coming out and the BBZ that we want to see going forward. So hopefully they take advantage of this and are just like, look, we had a rough game one. That's fine. We're in this to win it. We're going to come back swinging hard.
Yeah, and at this point, I'm excited to see who we get to see on the interview.
Absolutely. With that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Everyone just kind of stick around and we'll be right back.
Hello everyone, Chris Edgeworth here for today's first interview of our second game in a recurring theme. I am joined by BBZ's victorious support Orphic? Am I reading that right? Now in the bot lane? Orphic, welcome.
Hey Chris, happy to be here, and yes, it is support diff Orphic here, just making plays.
Hell yeah, man. Well, something that I just want to touch on at the top was as support, you topped the damage charts in the last game, which is pretty excellent. Let's talk a little bit about how big of a statement game this was for you folks. We had the rematch yesterday, and unfortunately, you did not come up with the dub in that one against Yubi. And it was a bit of a roughie, but this game was absolutely what we were hoping to see out of this revitalized BBZ roster, the change up, the tune up, new people coming in. So what are your thoughts on today's rebound, and what went wrong and what went right today?
So I think what I'm allowed to say is that we definitely showed a lot of issues yesterday. Whether you want to call it drafts, the play, I think we just didn't show up yesterday at all. And that's no flame to my team. I think we all kind of agreed on that yesterday. But then today, we mentally reset, we came back to it, and then we played a style that, excuse me, that we really wanted to play. This is what BBZ does and what BBZ will do. And so from here on out, we're just gonna start rolling people over. I think we've got really nice synergy going between jungle, me, mid. I think we've got some good stuff going.
Well, it certainly showed in today's game, and it's good to hear. The mental boom was handled in short order, so to speak. It really is excellent to see teams, especially when we talk about this organized play structure we got here in Friend or Foe. Just any given day on any given team on any given day, rather. It could just not be your day on the Rift, and the other team's just popping off and just not taking it personally, coming back, bouncing back. And this was an excellent game for you folks, and you especially, as I highlighted, you're on top of the damage charts. Talk to me a little bit, if you would, about the Orphic diff now in the bot lane. What's it like being in the new position?
I'll be real with you, it's pretty easy. Support is a lot easier than having to carry spear from last year. This team makes it easier than trying to carry 4 people who just kind of weighed down a lot. Obviously, I played against my support from last year, and I think that puts a nice little nail in the coffin on the expectations from me going forward and how much of a difference I can make in a game.
Well, let's talk specifically about this game, because yes, as you say, I think that says everything. You left it all on the Rift, and it's a statement for itself. So if you could maybe in your own words then contextualize it, what was this game like? You put together the draft where you had this Fiora in the top lane, and which is spicy. I'm a big fan of that pick. I think it can be utilized a little bit more. And also, I love the classic Caitlyn Morgana in the bot lane. So talk to me a little bit just about this game, what you folks had, and what you're up against.
Yeah, so going into it, we had some picks we wanted to prioritize. We first picked the Xin Zhao, really strong jungler right now. And then they locked in Alistair Varus, which, they're okay together, but they're not wonderful together. So we just kind of hit them with a perfect pairing. And honestly, Chris, between you and me, Serenity's bot lane can't dodge Qs for shit.
I'll keep that between us. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we just nailed a couple Qs on him here and there, and then at the end, I was just hitting, I think, pretty consistent Qs on their front line. So, yeah.
At certain points, it was one part it felt like you had it as a targeted ability, and other times it just sort of seemed like they decided they wanted to get hit by them, which was an interesting duality to witness. So props to you for the Morgana player, coming into this role and picking up the most detested champion, or one of them, in that role, and piloting it with such efficiency. So excellent game from you, Orphic, and congratulations to BBZ for the first win of this season for Luna. Before we step away and get ready for our next game, Orphic, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to leave with us on the desk? Any banter? Any shoutouts?
Nah, I think I'm good. Yeah, I think I've said all I need to say.
All right. Well, yeah, you certainly got in enough licks, I felt like, throughout the overall interview. So it speaks for itself. And folks, that's it for us on this interview. We'll be back shortly after an intermission with our third game, but second of our run today. So don't go away. We'll be right back with our next game.